You won't believe these celebrities are billionaires. We've gathered together a list of all the celebrities on Forbes' Billionaires list. But how did they make billions? Well, let's find out. Number 11. LeBron James. $1 billion. LeBron James became a billionaire just this year. It's a seriously impressive achievement, and everyone will want to know how he did it, especially because he's the first ever active NBA player to achieve billionaire status. We have the answers, but of course, it all started on the court. LeBron is one of the highest paid athletes of all time. Not surprising considering he's a two-time Olympic gold medalist, four-time NBA champion, and 18-time NBA All-Star. His player salary reached a whopping $385 million. But that's not even close to a billion. To reach that milestone, he had to be smart. He used his fame to maximize his profits, signing endorsement deals with big brands like Nike, AT&T, PepsiCo, and Walmart. But he didn't only use his recognizable face to make good business deals. He used his money too. He has a stake in several companies. His latest gamble was the fast-growing Blaze pizza chain, which seems to be working out. He's also involved with Fenway Sports Group, which owns the Boston Red Sox, and the Spring Hill Company, which runs a marketing agency, entertainment company, and athletes platform. So LeBron is sticking with what he knows and branching out from there, which is proving to be a very smart move. To meet our next celebrity billionaire, we need to move from the world of sports to entertainment. Number 10. Tyler Perry. $1 billion. American actor, writer, director, playwright, and producer Tyler Perry had a pretty unusual rise to fame. In a way, you could say he had just one good idea. That was all he needed. His character, Mabel Medea Simmons, was so popular she received her own film franchise, headed up by Perry all the way. Not only was he often writing, directing, and producing the films, he was also playing more than one character in them. That means he was earning a lot more than if he'd just directed or taken on the leading role. But the Medea films aren't enough on their own to earn $1 billion. Instead, Perry was smart enough to use the money he was earning from those movies to invest it in other projects. He opened his own entertainment company, Tyler Perry Studios, as well as striking a deal with Viacom-CBS, which earns him another $150 million per year. But you might be surprised to learn that most of his net worth comes from projects he works on in creative roles. Since he started working in Hollywood, he's directed an incredible 1,000 episodes of TV, many of which were for his own shows. As if that wasn't enough, he's written and directed about 50 movies and plays, not to mention all the ones he's produced since the early 90s. He sure seems to love being a billionaire. He owns real estate in LA, New York, Atlanta, and Wyoming. And he even let Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stay in one of his houses when they moved to America. He's also the proud owner of not one, but two private planes. I guess creating a movie empire pays off. Tyler Perry is loved by fans all around the world. But the next celeb on our list had to survive a scandal to reach $1 billion net worth. Number 9. Tiger Woods. $1.1 billion. It turns out there are only two athletes in history who became billionaires while still playing. And they both reached that milestone only this year. We already mentioned LeBron James is one, while the other is Tiger Woods. The golfer is one of the most recognizable sports stars in the world. And that's not surprising considering how many golf records he's achieved over the years. Within his first year of turning pro, he won the Masters with a record-breaking 12-stroke performance, and it was only up from there. He was flying high until December 2009, when evidence that he'd been having affairs hit the media. His wife decided to leave him, and he dropped down the rankings. Not long after, several serious injuries caused him to pause his career. But it looks like he's back and better than ever. Last year, he was ranked as the 15th highest paid athlete in the world, earning $65 million in 12 months. But that's not the only way he earns money. His endorsement deals bring in a shocking amount of money. Most famously, he signed with Nike in 1996 when they offered him a $40 million 5-year contract. When that one expired, the next one got even bigger at $100 million over 5 years. And that's only one brand. He also has deals with Bridgestone, Monster Energy, Rolex, and TaylorMade. That and his golfing earnings have combined to create this amazing $1.1 billion net worth. And he shows no signs of slowing down. Of course, you don't need to be as talented as Tiger Woods to make $1 billion. The next person on our list proves that business smarts can earn just as much. Number 8. Kim Kardashian, $1.2 billion. Reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians became a smash hit that catapulted star Kim Kardashian to fame. Well, that plus the viral sex tape she released. Even if we ignore that, each season of the show meant Kim's bank balance got an added $7.5 million. That's an impressive salary, but it's not enough to make someone a billionaire. For that, Kim had to leverage her fame in smart ways, and she did. Obviously, like any recognizable star, she's banked off endorsement deals, selling everything from diet pills to lollipops. Not all of them were successes. That might be why she decided to create her own brands instead. In 2019, she launched KKY Beauty and soon sold 20% of the brand to Coty for a whopping $200 million. The brand was then closed and replaced with luxury skincare collection Skin by Kim. But it's her shapewear line Skims that's really boosting her net worth. Last year, it was valued at an incredible $3.2 billion. Even before that, she was earning impressive amounts of money from unusual things, like multiple exclusive fragrances and even a smartphone game. In case you're wondering, it was called Kim Kardashian Hollywood, and it grossed a whopping $1.6 million in the first 5 days after its release. Kim clearly knows what her fans want, and she's happy to give it to them. It's clear to see why. Every time she creates something new, it earns her a ton of cash. At this moment, she's reported to have a $1.2 billion net worth, and it's still growing. While Kim was using her business savvy to make $1 billion, the next person on our list was becoming one of the biggest names in music. Number 7. Rihanna, $1.4 billion. Barbados-born megastar Rihanna is only 35 years old, but she's had more impact on the music scene than most people can achieve in a lifetime. She earned her first Grammy in 2007 thanks to her hit song Umbrella, which topped the charts in 17 countries and became one of the most played songs of the decade. Since then, her list of awards has kept growing. She has 9 Grammys, 13 AMAs including their Icon Award, 12 Billboard Music Awards, and an Academy Award nomination. And that's without even mentioning the 6 Guinness World Records, most of which relate to how many singles she sold. And just this year, she became the first person ever to headline a Super Bowl halftime show while pregnant. There's nothing she can't do, including earning over $1 billion. But it's not all down to her music. Of course, like all recognizable celebrities, she's had a few high-paying brand endorsement deals. She seems to mainly stick to luxury brands, including Dior, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton. But the biggest chunk of her wealth comes from her own luxury brands. In fact, she has not one, but $2 billion brands to her name. It started with her cosmetics company, Fenty Beauty. The joint venture with luxury goods maker LVMH was popular from the start, but experts say its revenue actually doubled last year. Her luxury lingerie brand, Savage by Fenty, has an estimated value of $3 billion, and Rihanna owns at least 30% of it. Put it all together, and Forbes currently lists her net worth at an impressive $1.4 billion. It just goes to show that being your own brand really can pay off. But the next person on our list is always behind the camera. How much money can you make doing that? Let's find out. Number 6. Peter Jackson, $1.5 billion. We've all seen Peter Jackson's amazing blockbusters. He's single-handedly making sure fantasy films stay popular. The Lord of the Rings trilogy became one of the highest-grossing film franchises of all time, earning just under $3 billion worldwide, while all of the Hobbit films were global successes too. His movies have earned him millions of dollars, but he wasn't set to enter the Billionaires list until 2022. So, how did he do it? Well, Jackson had already done the hard work a long time ago. Way back in 1993, Jackson wanted a certain look for the film Heavenly Creatures. So instead of seeking out someone who could do it for him, he created his own digital effects company called Weta Digital. Now that he had the company and all its resources, he kept it going. To date, it's won a whopping 7 Oscars for Best Visual Effects. That obviously includes the Lord of the Rings films, but they also won for their groundbreaking work that turned Avatar into the highest-grossing film of all time. To achieve all those amazing effects, the company had to create unique software. And this is where Jackson's new billion-dollar net worth comes in. In 2021, Weta sold these tech assets to game creators Unity Technologies for a staggering $1.6 billion. Because Jackson and his business partner owned a collective 60% of the company, that meant that Jackson received a whopping $600 million in cash thanks to the deal, plus $375 million in stocks in the company. That, plus all his earnings from directing blockbusters for decades, means that he now has an estimated net worth of $1.5 billion. Think that's as good as it gets? You're wrong. In fact, there's a sports star coming up that has $500 million more than Jackson. But who is it? Number 5. Michael Jordan, $2 billion. There's no doubt Michael Jordan is one of the most recognizable sporting legends of all time. And that probably explains why he became the world's first ever billion-dollar athlete back in 2014. But you can't achieve that without being smart with your cash, and Jordan's net worth has continued to grow. His 15 years with the NBA gave him a good foundation to build a fortune, with $90 million in earnings. That's a seriously impressive amount of cash, considering this was before the ginormous paychecks we see sports stars earning today. But that's not even close to the only big money earner he's had in his career. 90s kids will remember him best from the movie Space Jam, which he starred in alongside Bugs Bunny. He reportedly earned a $20 million paycheck for that appearance. But that's small change compared to the estimated $1.8 billion he's earned from endorsement deals over the last 40 years. That includes deals with McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and of course, Nike. Still, that's not his biggest earner. After all, he spent some of that cash, meaning it doesn't all contribute to his current net worth. But one big purchase does. Back in 2010, Jordan purchased a majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets. At the time, they were valued at $175 million, but today, their value has gone up to a whopping $1.7 billion. Now, that's a smart purchase. Like Michael Jordan, the next person on our list also became the very first billionaire in his field. Number 4. Jay-Z, $2.5 billion. Jay-Z became the first ever hip-hop billionaire back in 2020. He entered the Forbes billionaire list with an impressive $1 billion, but his fortune is more than double that now. But that's not all down to his music. Sure, he's earned more than enough cash from that alone. He's won 24 Grammy Awards, the most Grammys won by any rapper in history. And he holds the record for the most #1 albums of any solo artist in any genre. He's also produced songs and albums for other seriously high-profile artists, often collaborating with Kanye West. But you don't get to be the world's wealthiest musician just by making music. And that's where Jay-Z got smart. He has a ton of business ventures, beginning in 1999 when he founded the clothing line Rocawear. In 2003, he founded the 40/40 Club, a chain of luxury bars. A decade later, he led the launch of streaming service Tidal. And in 2020, he opened Monogram, which sells a range of cannabis products. He also owns stakes in Uber and Block, and has invested in artwork by famous painters like Jean-Michel Basquiat. But his biggest moneymakers are his alcohol brands. In 2021, a 50% stake in his champagne brand, Armand de Brignac, was bought by LVMH. Just this year, he earned even more when Bacardi purchased a majority stake in his Douce Cognac brand. All of that has pushed his net worth up to an impressive $2.5 billion. You'll understand exactly how impressive that is when you see that Jay-Z's net worth matches the next celebrity on our list. Number 3. Oprah Winfrey, $2.5 billion. Oprah Winfrey is famous for her incredible rags-to-riches story. She was born poor to a teenage mother and was raised in inner-city Milwaukee. Her life was pretty tough in many ways. She was even made fun of by other children because she had to wear clothes made of potato sacks when her mom and grandmother couldn't find the money to buy her clothes. But it all changed when she was sent to live with her father in Tennessee. He was kind to her but strict, encouraging her to achieve academic success. Soon, she got a job at a radio station while she was still in high school, and by the age of 19, she was co-anchor for their news broadcast. She was so good at it that the third-rate station was soon on top of the ratings. That was what earned her the attention she needed to launch her own production company, and of course, The Oprah Winfrey Show, which turned her into a household name. It's a seriously impressive story. She now holds the record as the world's first ever black female billionaire. It's impossible to list every achievement she has to her name, but we know a lot of it comes down to her total creative control over everything with her name on it, from the talk show to O Magazine. She has also helped launch the careers of other high-profile media personalities like Dr. Phil. Together, all that has contributed to her incredible $2.5 billion net worth. Oprah definitely deserves all that money. But to meet the second wealthiest celebrity on our list, we need to go up by more than $1 billion. Who's in second place? Number 2. Steven Spielberg, $4 billion. Steven Spielberg is one of the most well-known Hollywood directors of all time, but he has a pretty unique approach to making money. He's the only billionaire on our list who calls himself a gambler, but there's a good reason for that. He doesn't earn a salary for the films he directs. It sounds crazy, right? Instead of earning a paycheck, he makes deals with film studios. They fund the movies without paying him, and in exchange, he earns a percentage of profits. For most filmmakers, that really would be a huge gamble. But when you're Steven Spielberg, it's more like a safe bet. His movies normally earn hundreds of millions, and they've been making that money for decades. The total estimated box office earnings from all his films combined comes to a whopping $10 billion. Still holding the top spot is Jurassic Park, which earned an incredible $1.04 billion worldwide. That's closely followed by E.T. as Spielberg's second highest grossing film with just under $793 million. But how much does he earn personally from those sales? Well, back in 1993, it was estimated that Spielberg took home a record-breaking $250 million for his work on Jurassic Park. That record has been broken since then, but it's still a hugely impressive achievement. He doesn't only earn money from directing blockbusters, though. He also gets a percentage of every single ticket sold at Universal theme parks because of their use of the Indiana Jones franchise. That has contributed significantly to his $4 billion net worth. That's a lot of money, but Spielberg still isn't the richest celebrity on our list. In fact, he's not even the richest film director on the list. So who's in our number 1 spot? Number 1. George Lucas, $4.9 billion. George Lucas built his gigantic net worth from one good idea. Many of you will already know what it was. He came up with Star Wars. In 1977, the film was released and became an instant sensation, even though Lucas was a total newcomer as a director and writer. For the first film, he earned $25 million, a salary that most new directors can only dream of. But we all know what happened next. The film became one of the biggest franchises that has ever been created, and Lucas kept earning money from ticket sales, merchandise, and even intellectual rights. Star Wars has earned him hundreds of millions of dollars over the decades, but that's not the only thing that contributed to his net worth. Before that smash hit film was released, George Lucas created Lucasfilm, an entertainment production company that was started to create independent films. Since then, it's moved on, and is now best known for handling every Star Wars movie ever made, as well as Indiana Jones, another gigantic franchise. So even though George Lucas created the company just so he could make his own movies, it grew much bigger than that. And in 2012, Disney decided they wanted to get their hands on the company. To close the deal, they handed over a mind-blowing $4.05 billion. But the company would probably never have been worth that much without the success of Star Wars. Lucas himself owned a huge percentage of the company, which meant he received a whole chunk of that cash. Between that and Star Wars, Lucas has a $4.9 billion bank balance. Sometimes you really do need just one good idea. These celebrities know a thing or two about making money, but a lot of people are surprised by how many hip-hop stars are on this list. But there are plenty more ultra-rich music stars out there that just missed out on the billionaire list. Just check out our list of the richest female rappers in the world to find out who's got the most cash.